I don't know, man. When I look at my phone, Twitch is working absolutely perfectly. When I look at the web page, it says, well, no, it says I'm offline. Now it says it doesn't know who I am. Do, 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 do. Unstable. Whatever. We'll see what happens when I review later on. Good evening. It is a Thursday night. I am a Screaming Wyvern, and every week I like to reach into my hoard of TTRPGs and grab something which suits my mood. And just like last week, this week I am shilling, as it were, for the itch.io bundle, trans TTRPGs for trans rights Idaho. This is for Trans Affirm, which is a resource connections, medical support, emergency support, mutual aid, transitionware, and so on and so forth. The community center is a LGBTIA community group. Both good organizations, both in need of a little help, and I am going to track down my channel organizations and let's go ahead and send out a link. Tonight, I am offering a double feature. I have two games on my menu. both of which are included, but direct information on them will be on screen as I am playing. The first one is You Cannot Kill Me in a Way That Matters. This is a game by Steve Wright, also known as something that I wrote down, I swear. Deus Ex Minima. This is a solitaire game that can also have journaling aspects to it, if you so choose. And under the assumption that I will have time for a second game, I have also put down for Host Until the Light Takes Us by James Boychuk and Dylan Richardson, also known as Running from Skeletons. Running from Skeletons is also the creator of one of the games I showcased last week, Paper City, which is available as a standalone video on YouTube right now. If you are on YouTube, then you've got no excuse not to find it. And if you are on Twitch, I've got the links somewhere. Let's go ahead and center this ugly face. Do I have anything else I want to say? No, I don't. Let's go ahead and get this party started. I remember. There was something I wanted to say. You Cannot Kill Me in a Way That Matters is the first solo role-playing game based completely on a Tumblr meme. I think that is very important to note. The actual book says it's slightly different, and that was just one of the inspirations. But so me holding a gun to a mushroom. Tell me the name of God, you fungal piece of shit. The mushroom. Can you feel your heart burning? Can you feel the struggle within? The fear within me is beyond anything your soul can make. You cannot kill me in a way that matters. Me cocking the gun, tears streaming down my face. I'm not fucking scared of you. The reply. Hey, original poster, what the fuck does this mean? Decay exists as an extant form of life. That's a terrifying answer. Have a nice day. So yes, we today will be playing The Mushroom. Okay, now we're switching over. Now it all actually makes sense. Hello, Matthew. You have perished. But the fungal spores that suffuse your corpse cannot be destroyed so easily. After a timeless time, you return to a body, though you don't remember if it is yours or not. You are reconstituted, but also transformed. This game represents a search for meaning in a vast and hostile mycological landscape. Your character in the forest, full of threatening mushroom kaiju, are represented by cards from the deck. Sometimes you will find what you are looking for in the forest before you die. Sometimes not. Either way, you will make progress on your journey. What's the goal? Explore the forest, fight the threats, and grow your strength until you can capture the 10 of diamonds. So, it's a roguelike solitaire. It's a journaling game. It's both. It's a hair wax. This game works as either a journaling game about memory and loss or as a solitaire roguelike about epic battles in the forest. Each time you capture a diamond, there is a corresponding question to write about. On the other hand, if you just want to play some cards and level up, skip the journaling. I, of course, like journaling games. I just realized that my face is not visible, which makes me having a camera seem really silly right now. Okay. There. Much better. Let us continue looking at the book. So this was inspired by Carta SRD by Peach Garden Games. If you are new here, I have gone on the record that the Carta system resource document is one of my absolute favorite systems for solo role-playing games. It's something that I intend to, at some points, create my own game with. This is also inspired by the video game genre of idle games, and of course, a meme about mushrooms. A key part in idle video games is slowly growing in strength until you can power up your character permanently at the cost of starting over. Content warning, your character will die a lot in this game. If that makes you uncomfortable, it is not the game for you. However, although your character will die a lot in this game, they will reform because basically this is supposed to be, hey, what if the things from... My brain is now telling me Dead Alive. No, that's not the right one. Last of Us. What if the guys from Last of Us were just cute little babies? We're just, nice little things that aren't doing anything too mean. But contents, discussions of death is discussions of death. So, what I have here is a standard deck of cards. I have split out many of the cards, as you can see. All the cards from 4, 5 through King are all separated out into their own stacks. I have pulled out the Ace of Diamonds and all the remaining aces. 2s, 3s, and 3s are here in this tiny little deck. Materials, standard deck of cards, a character sheet to track your progress. It looks like this. Not that you probably can see very well. I have now realized I am lacking in something to write on. So let me fix that. And a way to mark your progress and write your answers to the questions, which would be this lovely pencil right here. There's absolutely nothing special about this pencil. It's just the one I found. Your character is represented by face-up stacks of cards of each suit with the ace on the bottom and other cards on top as they are collected. Hearts represents your physical body. Clubs, your resourcefulness. Spades, your magic. Let's take a moment to think about magic-wielding fungi. And we're done. And diamonds is your clarity and sense of purpose. Since you are part of a mitochondrial network, I'm going to go ahead and say your sense of purpose and your sense of self, which is backed up by the journaling questions, which will come up as I capture cards. So, the next thing we have here is very important. This is a card battling game. The number on my card will be compared against the number on the card I draw, and whichever is higher will mean victory. The first card from the right gives me a +2 bonus. So right now, I have a diamond score, if you will, of 3. The next one down, as we go left, gets a +1. The next one is a 0, and the next one is a -1. Now, I can change which skills are my priority at the beginning of each round of play. But as soon as I enter the forest and start the game proper, I'm locked in. Let's see. That pretty much is what I just explained. As you're damaged, you'll flip the top cards out of the way so that the lower values show. Once as soon as you have 0 cards in a stack and you take another hit, then you perish. Goals! I don't actually follow sports ball. I don't know if that's actually funny or not. You choose which stack you want to improve. Over on the side here, it shows me doing that by flipping it a little bit forward. I'm actually going to go ahead and use a die. Gravity is very interesting here. Yeah, I think I've given it moon gravity. That's fine. The first option is seeking cards, which means I'm specifically looking for a diamond in this case, or right now. You can only capture the cards in order, and you can only capture the cards you're deliberately seeking. So if I go out and I get, like I said, we've got +3, ignoring for a moment the fact that by default, ties, I lose. If I got to the 3 and I defeated the 3, then it would be discarded because I am looking for the 2. Supporting cards. Supporting cards lets me, if I had a spade, maybe an ace of spades, I could go ahead and flip the top spade over here to give a +1 modifier to my diamonds. So yeah. We do this hunt. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these a few times. By going through the forest. The forest is a map. I am rubbish, and always have been rubbish, at finding a good, you would think that it all being on the computer, I'd be able to have a better job. So, right now, I can only go into the outer parts of the forest. I am looking for the other cards. Other aces, I mean. So, right now, I am basically just a little fungus who is trying to get a body, the ability to do things with the body, and my magic, my fungal magic. I'm still bothered by that. As my powers grow, the forest will become bigger. But that will also have me going on taking marks on my character sheet, which are going to give me new powers. Okay. So, right here is the important thing. We're starting the game. So the forest is only one row. And there have to be 8 cards left in them. Once as soon as I get past, once I get down to under 8 cards, then I'm going to add the 4s to it. If I then go down below 12 cards, then I go ahead and add. But I don't add another row until after I've captured my 8. So maximum of 3 rows. Let's scoochy. All right. Once as soon as I get to the final minimum deck size, and I start adding the Jack, Queen, and King, that will be basically Kaiju. Which are ridiculously powerful and will hurt me deeply if I lose battles against them. And the final piece of information that we need to know, I search this card, I search this card, I search this card. Once as soon as I have, I'll go ahead and throw these out here for example's sake. When I have my second one, then I can start moving left and right. I can move from here to here. Obviously, when I'm actually ready for this, I'm going to make sure they're in some semblance of actual order. I can't move diagonally, is really what it comes down to. So, go ahead and where is my group button? Throw you guys back down in here, shuffle you up just in case. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, once again, all I have is my personality. Right now, I can do absolutely nothing. I cannot actually capture cards because I do not have a form or substance. So I'm going to spend the first 4 turns looking for the other aces. So let's go ahead. Here's my forest. Let's try this one. That is an ace of clubs. That is an excellent start. Obviously, I'll be able to change them around later, but I figure right now I'd better go ahead and just keep them in order. So from this spot, I can go to this spot or this spot. It's a small map, but it's a map nonetheless. If this is an ace, I could theoretically go to this one. So let's go ahead and that's a 2. So since I cannot really fight it, or when you think about it, since I have a 2 and I lose on ties, I've been defeated, which means I go ahead and I mark 1 move on my tracker, and I deal out my forest. And then I fuss with the cards a little bit because I have dumb. Fantastic. There is the Ace of Hearts. So once again, I can go this way, I can go this way to see if I can find the Ace of Spades. Let's see if it is here. It is not. Another round done. I don't know what was going to happen there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will be completely predictable. I will also forget to mark off my turn and start here, which gives me, again, a 2. It's not completely surprising that the odds of coming up with that ace are low. Forest, 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 forest. And just like before, I'm going to alternate. And that damn 2 of spades is going to follow me around. Oops. Stop opening menus. Well, it wasn't the 2 of clubs this time. That's a huge improvement. Okay. Technically, I can now seek, but I don't have my full power yet. My fungus cannot tell you the name of God. So until my fungus can tell you the name of God, we keep looking. Change of pattern! Not a worthwhile one! Really have to be marking these. Ooh! A very big monster has caused my explosion into a puff of spears. Yeah, I got curious. Okay, for the sake of I only planned an hour for this. Okay. So I still have 8 cards. I am going to add the next set of cards when I go under 8 cards. So at this point, I can move my stuff around. So I have diamonds at +2. I have aces at +1. I have clubs at +1. I have hearts at +0, and this is at -1. I am going to go ahead and stick with this. Let me go ahead and mark that I am searching for the 2 of diamonds. And I'm just going to go ahead and start on this edge. That is the 3 of spades. 3 of spades, and I have 0 for spade power. So that knocks me straight off. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting at the other end again. That is the 2 of hearts. That is not what I am currently looking for, and because this is a 1, that is a loss again. Not to be confused with a loss again. Please stop hitting T. Righteous. I'm forgetting. Well, that looks familiar. Same speech as before. A superstitious person would have me move the hearts to the front row and be searching with those. But I am not a superstitious man, knock on wood. All right, a 3 of diamonds. It is the suit I am looking for, but not the number I am looking for. So my ace gets a +2, which is not sufficient. So I'll do another marking. Shuffle the cards. Here. Okay, and that's our 3 again. The 2, but the wrong 2 yet again. Now, if this continues for 2 more, something interesting is going to happen. And it's the 3 of hearts. The 2 of clubs. I have 1 club, +1 is 2. Ties are bad, so that doesn't help me at all. But I have now reached round 15 and unlocked the ability. Let me go ahead and explain this through the use of... So this is the track. You start unable to actually seek, which means you can't fight and claim cards. You look for... This one gives you the ability to start seeking. This one allows me to seek twice. So not extremely useful just yet because of the limitations, but good to know. Yeah. As soon as I get to that point, I will be searching for both the diamond and the club. That is the 2 of hearts. The 3 of diamonds, which we are not prepared to fight. Very important that you mark your progress. Well, I touched it, so. Ooh, the 2 of diamonds. I have now done a thing. So although I can technically hunt with it and the diamonds, I'm not in the best place yet to do anything with it. So I'm going to go ahead, because I've gotten under my 8 cards, I need to go ahead and add the 4s, shuffle those in. So since I got a diamond, when you capture a diamond, reflect a moment. What mission do you carry forward to your next form? So the underlying story is that I am a man, a person at least, who has stepped into this fungal forest. And my original body has been destroyed. So the real question here is, what the hell was I thinking? Why am I here? Or why was the me who was human here? We could say that there was something that the me that was searching for. I am going to take the meme of damaged romance here. There was a woman that I loved who did not love me and promised that she would love me back if I returned from the Vale of Mushrooms with something. What can I find in the Vale of Mushrooms? Well, for stories like that, it's always something stupid. So it literally could be a perfect portobello mushroom. So yeah, mindless mushroom me is still seeking a perfect portobello mushroom, which is probably held by one of the gargantuan creatures. So I'm seeing here that I didn't have to take seeking two different creature suits. I could have done support instead. Oh well. Doubt that'll matter. Now, I do know. Let's see. If you are seeking that card, add it to the character deck on top of that stack. Mark your victory on the incarnation tracker. If you captured a diamond, discuss. If you beat a card you were not seeking, discard it and continue. If you lose, then you take damage. Quite right. Okay. Still at this level, it doesn't really matter. I am basically going to need to keep going until okay, 3 of diamonds. That is what I was looking for. If I find the 4 of diamonds, then I'll be in Happy Town. But that is the 4 of clubs, which means that I have no physical strength left, and the 2 of hearts, and the 3 of clubs, and that loses me. What am I doing? I have made choices that I cannot explain. Okay. What pain do you leave behind as you move on? So we've discussed that before I became Mushroom Me, I was in love, but it was unrequited. Although she promised that that would change. And although I'm still obsessed with the finding of the perfect portobello, as it were, I no longer feel the pain of unrequited love. So I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of recording here, I'm going to skip ahead a bit. Seven, perfect. So in addition to now having a 11 card deck again, I now have the ability to go ahead and provide support. So that means that I'm going to go ahead and move the coins to the front. I am going to go ahead and so that means that both of these are at +2. Very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5 of spades, that obviously loses me a point. The 5 of hearts. The 5 of diamonds. So that is a tragedy. And the 3 of clubs. The 3 of clubs is actually one thing that I'm looking for. So that is good. So I have survived this prance through the forest, as it were. And I have been empowered slightly by it. Am I changing anything? I feel like I should focus my search on the last heart. One, two. 1, 2, 3. Jeez. So that I can go further if I'm lucky. Let me go ahead and plop that down. Okay, so I am looking for... Actually, I should empower this one. So that's 5, which means that I can get the 4 of clubs, yes. Let's start here. That is the 5 of diamonds. That is the 5 of hearts, which unfortunately means that unless I get the... If I get the 2 of hearts... No, I'd really all I'm looking for here is the 4 of clubs. That is the 5 of spades, and that is the 5 of clubs. So, no joy that round. The 4 of diamonds, not what I am looking for right now. The 5 of clubs, whoops. So 2, 3, 4, I can't capture the 4. And that does me. Give it one more go. A 2 of hearts. That is fantastic. That puts me 1 ahead. Just keep on going. 4 of clubs. So if this is the 3 or the 5, the 3 of hearts or the 5 of spades, no, but no harm done. And the 5 of hearts, definitely harm done. Am I satisfied with what I've done? Stop that. Three of hearts. That backwards. Okay. So I said I was looking for a double feature tonight. So why don't I go ahead and offer up some opinions while I reset the board. I think that's amazing. I think it's a absolutely fantastic game. It's not necessarily so fantastic for streaming, but I would definitely be an outlier. So basically the number one problem is that I did not notice the fact that I could have been getting the support earlier, which would have allowed me to last a little bit longer in some of those earlier ones. Now, what's very interesting about this is that they cited TTRPG, Blarg, I have no idea why I decided randomly to say that. They cited Idle Games as a source. Okay, now I'm going to look silly. Let me pull back up. So we go through the tracker. As we get dots, then we can go ahead and raise power. We can't get an extra seeking until we've gotten the first seeking. We can't get extra support until we've got the one support. And then we've got all these ones which are doubles. And it's not necessarily inset like it should be. But technically, once you reach your 10 of diamonds, you've won the game. So, if you're familiar with idle games, the next step after getting as far as you can in this life is you ascend, you transcend, you lose all of your current progress, but you have a bonus for next time. So, this one obviously is, let's go ahead and get the party started quicker. Get the aces and twos all out there. Bonus to clubs, bonus to diamonds, bonus to heart, bonus to spades. And I would say that as you get your transcension bonuses, you're going to be able to start dealing with what it calls those kaiju cards. So yeah, I love it. It's an absolutely fantastic game. Not as much journaling for me to show off, but I can definitely see me grabbing a deck of cards and sitting at the table playing this. So no problem there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move to our second game of the night. This is Host Until the Light Takes Us. This one is a pure journaling game. Get that nice and shuffled, shall we? And there's the far more pictorial picture. So this is effectively our character sheet. Events are going to cause me to mark off symbols. Marking off all the symbols will do something on page 28. Obviously, if you're watching this, you will probably be getting spoilers for what happens on page 28. If I'm unfortunate enough, I don't know. All right, so before we start, we decide on what our character is going to be. For the sake of this being my channel, I am going to say it's me. It's just good old 51-year-old gentleman me. We are going to draw a card to find out what the first event is. Now, with a name like Until the Light Takes Us, you should be aware that these are going to be portentous apocalyptic events. Good stuff. As soon as we do, we know what's happening, and we discuss how that event looks for us. We find out how long it is until the second event, and that's this right here. If it's going to be the next day, obviously there's no reason for something else to happen. If it's more, then maybe we discuss what happens between, the first event and the second event. And then that repeats until we have our story. Going to pull open that time on a different page. Host is a solo journaling game played with a standard deck of 52 cards and a tool to record your character's experience. Over the course of the game, time will pass and the world will experience fantastic events. You write journaling entries as your character details just how the world is coming apart. Step 0, if you like, you can create a fictional character to journal as. It may be useful to world build, obviously, but otherwise, you can just be yourself. Draw a card to determine the first event. Create a journal entry explaining what happened. How long it takes until the second event. And if you want to review what happened between the events further, this is what I just went over. If you've already experienced a specific event, feel free to skip to the next one on the list that you haven't seen, or to draw again. There are check marks on each of the lists to help you track which one you've already drawn. The sections of this book after the event list are intended to only be viewed when prompted by specific event entries. Please don't read ahead if you don't want to spoil things for yourself. All the rules are suggestions. Use what is here however you see fit to have the best time possible. All right, so we begin. A great gaping hole appears in the sky above it. Through it, you see something that you don't recognize, shapes and colors you've never seen before. Okay, making sure that there's no other rules that I should apply. So I work as a programmer. My office is located basically in a bunker. Deep within the rest of the office. So something happening like this isn't going to be something that I can notice first. And for the most part, I stay at my desk all day except for, the occasional breaks. So there's a question of how I found out. And I think it's going to be that in the other half of the office where the tech support crew works, I started hearing them drop their headsets and run out of the room. And eventually, curiosity gets the better of me. And I follow, and I see a throng of people are all outside. Now, a lot of them have gone through the front door, but there's a back door, which I head for. And I look up, and there is an emptiness, not like a cloudless section, not like a night sky, but an emptiness. And because it's a hole in existence, a hole in what is, it hurts to look at it, but it's also hard not to look at it. And it's also hard to tell if the things that are visible in this lack, this not there, are actually from the not there, or if they're just the mind trying to find a way to handle what it cannot process. And that starts off a chain of events, apparently. But it's a month before anything else happens. And this is one of those horrible times where you have to look at what's going on in the world around us, where things are happening so fast. We've captured the leader of Venezuela. We've bombed Iran. Things keep happening, and we cannot stop and think about them. So 1 month, there are going to be a couple of days of everyone panicking and freaking out, and doomsday cults, and eventually the upper management is going to start calling people and saying, yes, there's a hole in the sky, but you need to put in your time card. You need to figure out how to work around it. The hole is just there, and we can't let it interfere with business. So it's time to go ahead and come back in and earn your paycheck. So it's been 3 weeks that we're expected to just go back to normal. Of course, on the first day when we came back, there were rows and rows of smiley face cookies to remind us that everything is fine and we shouldn't have to worry about anything. Yes, I'm still angry. And life just gets back to normal for 3 weeks. The grocery stores are still getting their food supplies. Gas is just as easy as it to get now. And then something else happens. The second event. You hear a voice behind you say, "Be not afraid." You see an incomprehensible being that tells you the secrets of the world. Go to page 16. Go ahead and make that little so there's minimal spoilers. The angel informs you that the host is ill and struggling. Only by banding together with them and conforming to the will of God can they be healed. The misdeeds of humans makes it only more difficult for them to recover. In working to keep normalcy and morality, the world can be maintained by allowing God to sleep and heal. The world can be maintained by allowing God to sleep and heal. They command you to be a paragon of virtue, that your deeds might improve the state of things. You can choose to obey or not, but continued sin, now that you are no longer ignorant of the situation, is likely to attract their ire. To which the only reasonable response is sit on it and spin. The misdeeds of humans are being done in the name of God right now. I mean, right now, we literally have the President of the United States posting pictures of himself dressed as Jesus. It doesn't get more stupid than that. And no wonder the host is ill and struggling. This is turtle straw territory. This is absolutely turtle straw territory, where because the big people won't stop doing whatever they want, it's expected that the little people are supposed to use paper straws instead of plastic ones, so that the few turtles who can survive the poison that's being dumped into the ocean don't choke on plastic straws. So yeah, am I going to obey? No. Am I going to sin? Not in any way that would be abnormal for me. What are the 7 deadly sins? Let's see. There's gluttony. I'm currently trying to lose weight, so ship has sailed on that one, and I'm trying to unsin there. Although with a great big hole in the sky, am I still going to the gym? I don't know. Lust. Well, my lust is fairly single-minded. What are the 7 deadly sins? I should know this. Check them off occasionally. Well, okay. Lust, gluttony, greed. Yeah, that sin has been thrown out the window because all the people who, are making the host ill are the greedy ones. That's not going to happen. Sloth. Let's be fair, hiding in bed when these kind of things are happening, not a bad idea, but I'm still trying to get that paycheck. Wrath. I feel like I was being asked to be a wrathful, so envy. I don't envy anyone. If someone can do something that I can't do, then I either am going to learn to do it myself, or I'm going to let go of it, because anything they could do, they learned. And pride, I'm pretty sure that anyone who's watching this will know that I have absolutely no pride, and will mock myself before anyone else. So yeah, there won't be any more sinning than usual, and yeah. If they want someone to be a paragon of virtue, maybe they should be appearing to people higher up in the food chain, as it were. And after that, nothing happened. The hole in the sky was there, and the world went farther and farther into normalcy. There were some people who said that God was sick and that we needed to come together as brothers to give him the rest that he needs. They were arrested for causing a public nuisance because no one in the government actually wants real religion involved. If you haven't noticed, it's true. So, it's December. It's my birthday. I've settled back into routine completely. But I'm going to celebrate with my birthday treat, which is sushi. So that's going to be when the final event will hit. A 10. This is first event. This is second event. Final event. The Messiah returns. Rejoice, for the Savior has returned to the world. 16. Quickly. Whoops. A savior appears from humble origins. Each person perceives them differently, seeing them as their personal platonic ideal. The Messiah sets around about doing what one would expect, preaching of salvation through following them, healing the ill, and punishing the truly corrupt and irredeemable. Once a bit of time passes, it's noticed that those they have healed slowly turns to gold. They're still able to move, speak, and behave as normal, but their flesh turns to metal and they are obviously transfigured into golden beings. As yet more time passes, cracks begin to form on their surface. Once the cracks become plentiful enough, they burst apart, hatching into new angels, these beings of flame, wheels, wings, and eyes, ascend into the sky and vanish from view. If asked about them, the Messiah will only explain that they are saving people by making them truly part of the host. And finally, things change. On the plus side, all of the corrupt and irredeemable are punished by this being. Which means that in most countries, a vast amount of the government is gone. Whether they were taken down to the lake of fire or they were shown the error of their ways. Billionaires have been completely neutered. And things would be in a place where where it could be rebuilt if it weren't for the fact that nobody knows exactly what is happening to the people. Because, of course, some people see this as an awakening, as a person losing their worldly form and being lifted pure and whole into heaven. But other people are afraid because what they see is death from them metamorphosizing into something that is no longer them. And the end result is that for months, there's a sort of Cold War against the Messiah where perfectly good people try to avoid him and others rush to his side. Of course, if their personal platonic ideal, I personally, it would be her side. But that's beside the point. But eventually, with all the irredeemable people off their high horses, there's no single charismatic figure that can truly organize things one way or the other. And ultimately, it turns into a battle between science and faith. Because a lot of the researchers who are looking into this do not trust. Because when you metamorphosize, when you go from a caterpillar to a butterfly, then the body is changed on the outside, and on the inside, what you were is liquefied to become the new form. And that is what seems to be happening here. So ultimately, it comes down to your opinion about what a soul truly is. If the mind, if they have the memories of the person. But the evidence against that is that their priority is going up to join the host, which means that they abandon all their connections here on Earth. And eventually it all becomes the same as a zombie infection where people are concerned about being turned into these things and losing their humanity. And slowly, this turns into a full-scale armed conflict with the Messianists completely fearless, because they know that if they are harmed, they will be healed. And the other side treating them as basically the same as zombies. And frankly, it's not a world that I can take part in. I would be packing up my things and probably my family would just be like, screw this, and drive off a cliff. That's always been my wife's opinion on any kind of hypothetical zombie situation. So yeah. Thanks for letting us see the other side of the universe. Thank you for proving that, yeah, there is divine being. I don't want to be part of this, so anything that I do is going to be seen as a sin. So I guess I'm done. So yeah, it starts off good, starts off great, and then it all collapses. And eventually, one side is going to rise above the other, and I honestly don't know which one it's going to be. Because on the one hand, you can see that as people are formed into the host, that side is going to get weaker and weaker. But until then, they're going to go quality over quantity, while the opposing side is going to be trying to take out this messianistic figure so he cannot damage things further. So yeah, it's not Left Behind, but it's going to be just as devastating. And this all happened in less than a year. And I think that ends our story about how the world ended. And of course, there's nothing... It would be very interesting to go through all the possible outcomes. So the idea here is that there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. There's 12 possible endings or major events. If I skim really quickly through the events, there's 1, 2. There's 2 major events that happen from the first event. 1, 2, 3, 4 that come from the second event, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the final event. So it would be kind of fun to read other people's journals of this. I will definitely say that. Excellent journaling game. Absolutely love the prompts. Would be very interested to keep playing, but I currently have close to 1,000 things in my hoard, so I feel like I should consider showing more of that off. And for now, that has been 2 games that are currently available in the TTRPGs for Trans Rights bundle on itch.io. Over 500 independent and a handful of professional RPGs, solo RPGs, side items. There's too much to properly describe, but itch.io/B/3525. I don't suppose that just that is enough. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. All you need to remember is itch.io/B/3525, and you can get there. Currently, the money raised is $42,960.36. From 4,378 individuals, an average contribution of $10, with the top contribution being $250.05, which screams to me, let's see what the absolute highest amount that's currently been contributed is, and I'm going to go ahead and just go a little bit over it. But yeah, no complaints about that. So yeah, if you can find it, there's a ton of stuff available. Some might say too much stuff, and to that I say, well, then just buy it for the sake of helping out, which ultimately is what the world needs and what Idaho desperately needs. Because if the Messiah from our little story was going to show up and go after the corrupt individuals, Idaho would be one of the first places he's head to right now, with their bounties and their rejection of letting people correct their information because of assumptions that were made 20 years ago. Protect trans kids, protect trans adults, prevent this genocide that affects, like, at most 1% of the population. And with that, I bid you good night. I will be back next week. And as always, be one of the good ones, because there are way too many of the bad. I'll see you then.